Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of the Relationships and Chill podcast. I am your gracious host, Coach R. Anthony, and today we are going to be talking about why a man should not pursue or chase a woman, and why a woman should not want to be pursued or chased. Now, I did a blog post about this, so you can check that out on relationshipsandchill.com, and you'll begin to see my perspective on why a good percentage of the perspective of why I believe a man should not chase a woman. And a lot of people gave me a lot of side-eyed backlash, a little bit of that, because they didn't really understand where I was coming from. But after I broke it down, after I gave them the particulars, they started to see it like, whoa, actually, you might be onto something. You might be onto something. So, first and foremost, make sure you hit that subscribe button and definitely give us a rating. Let us know how we're doing so that we can continue to provide great information, or make some adjustments to better suit and give you guys what you need. And that's the aim. I mean, that's the purpose of a podcast. So we want to make sure we're doing that to the best of our abilities. Shout out to my co-host. It's just gonna be me on this one, but shout out to my co-host, my wife, Coach Lulu, Coach Christina, and Coach Candace. Shout out to you all. But like I said, in this episode, we're going to be talking about why a man should not pursue a woman or chase or anything of that nature, and why a woman should not want to be pursued or chased or whatever. You can also check the video version of this podcast. I'm trying something new on YouTube, Relationships and Chill TV. You'll be able to see me actually record this thing live. So you can see my eyes, that I'm not just saying this stuff. I'm actually telling you what I know and what I believe. So if you're checking me out on video, peace to you. Check out the podcast. If you're listening to it on the podcast, check out the video. So both of y'all just try different things. Try to look at me in my eyes and try to listen to my voice. When you got some time, you ain't got time to look at me in my eyes. So anyway, without further ado, a man should never chase a woman. And I'm about to tell you why. We love to use animals and how they pursue their prey, how they hunt down their prey. And you'll hear this a lot. Men are hunters by nature. That's true. We are hunters by nature, but we hunt food by nature. We hunt things that we plan on killing and consuming, and then moving on to the next chase or to the next pursuit. No animal just says, you know what, because women will love to say that men should pursue her, or a man should be pursuing a woman. But I mean, it's a difference between putting forth effort and making yourself known to present and to make yourself known and to show interest. But the pursuit is more so, it should be a mutual thing, meaning that a man should never have to pursue a woman. Typically 9 times out of 10, if a man is having to pursue a woman or chase a woman, there's either a fear there of being hurt. There's a game that she wants to play just to see if a man is truly interested. And then, but at the end of the day, what is he chasing? Realistically, what is a man chasing when he's quote unquote pursuing or chasing a woman? What is he actually standing to gain? Because if you think about it, like I said, hunters hunt for the capture, or to kill and consume their prey. And so a lot of women end up with this, that have this mentality, end up being pursued. And then when a man finally gets the thing that she believes she should be holding off, or he should be pursuing, because it ain't the conversation. A man ain't pursuing you for a conversation. Either you having a conversation with a guy or you're not. When you out and about, out at the club, or you're out in your typical day and you meet somebody, wherever, then you have a conversation. That's just a natural thing that we do as humans. Like with your best friends, you didn't have to pursue becoming a best friend or becoming a friend to somebody. You presented yourself, and or you related on a certain issue, and then that relationship that you built with them on that issue expanded into other issues, and you find out that we're more similar than we are different, or opposing. We're more similar than we are anything else. So that creates a common union. That creates the communion. That creates the relationship between two people. And that's the foundation for building a friendship. That's the foundation for building a relationship. But what we like to do as humans, we like to categorize and say, well, it's different with my relationship and it's different with my friends. It's different because that emotional connection isn't the same. Well, that's true, but if that's true, I mean, I meant to say if that's true, then there is no need to pursue to say to yourself that my spouse or my significant other is my friend or my best friend. Since we're gonna separate it, because how can everybody who knows that a relationship, the best relationships are built from the best friendship. So as you remove a lot of the stigmas that we attach to relationships, you begin to really get to know the person. And a relationship is really just how two people relate. How are we relating? Because you can relate one way right now, and then 5 years from now, you either detach from each other or the relationship becomes stronger and better. And you begin to relate on different levels in different areas. So there is a continuous process of developing and learning and growing together. But with the pursuit and chase mentality, one person is always over here and another person, they're wanting the other person to come and make the efforts. Whereas they don't know, either they are not making the efforts or they've been so used to being pursued, they now have to be pursued emotionally, mentally, and that person is always going to have to pursue. Now, as the roles reverse and that person doesn't have to chase or pursue anymore, because honestly, realistically, what we're saying, what people who say chase me are saying is that I want you to chase me for this, meaning the sexual side. Where women say typically, hey, I want a man to pursue me. He's not really pursuing you to get to know you, because you're having conversations. You're giving that away freely. You know, you can go out and have a conversation with a total stranger, and that is the starting process of building a relationship. Now, whether or not it goes into other areas, that's totally different, but there's no pursuit there. So that's a natural process as humans. We naturally connect and gravitate towards people. It's just now we have to, now in when it comes to being romantically inclined, we don't want to, we want to disassociate the process of getting to know someone from the actual act of intimacy. So the actual act of intimacy is what we're wanting to pursue. And so that's priming a man or a woman to be set up for a man who is pursuit always. Because no hunter just hunts once, like I said. No hunter just does this once. But with every hunt, every kill, he becomes better. He gets better and better. And then the hunt becomes an addiction. And I'm speaking from a man who mastered the game. But at a certain point, I never was one of those people that have to hunt down women. What I would do, and this is what I'm getting into. What I did was I presented myself, and the reason why this is the most important thing for the most important shift that both need to take is because if I put myself in a position to present what I have to a woman, it's now up to her and her ability or inability to recognize what I have to offer or what I'm presenting. If she cannot recognize what I present, then boom, there's nowhere else to go. So depending upon her ability or inability to recognize what I have to offer creates whether or not where we go forward in this relationship. You know, I look at it like this. You don't see Bentley commercials or Ferrari commercials. You don't see those things because they know the perceived value is when you come to us, we know you recognize that we're worth XYZ. We're a higher class. So you don't have to pursue when you know what you present. And you don't have to have somebody pursue when you know how to recognize what's being presented. Because it actually wastes your time as a woman when you are not as attentive to what he is bringing to the table to to now you're either two things are happening. You're either really interested in the guy and he's showing interest, and so you're showing interest back, and then it's back and forth, which is pretty good. But if you're not as interested in him, you're gonna kind of put him on the side or on the back burner, especially if you are dating or interested or entertaining multiple guys at the same time. You're gonna have one that you're more so interested in, and these other guys kind of like fit in where they can. So you'll make them jump through a million hoops, and you may just like, hey, we'll go out to dinner, and then I'm not really feeling you like that, but I'll at least spend time with you and talk to you and all that kind of stuff. But this guy over here, you really, 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 really like, and he's not doing 99% of the work that they're doing. So he's not really putting forth the effort and the pursuit like these other guys are doing, but you find more interest in him because you are physically attracted to him. Now, to bring this back, when I was out there, I presented what I had to offer. So if a woman was not able to perceive the value, then to me that would not be a candidate for me to continuously engage and show more interest in, because it has to be reciprocated. If a man is chasing a woman continuously, it becomes too much like work. And that's why a lot of men in relationships, they get frustrated when a woman shuts off emotionally, and they continuously ask, how are you feeling? What's wrong? What's going on? What's going on? A woman eventually, well, the woman's like, I'm fine. But realistically, it's more, especially for a man that's used to chasing, it's more ammunition for him to chase more. It's like the pursuit. But initially, once a man gets the sexual aspect of it, then there's really nothing else to pursue in terms of that. Now, as the relationship goes further, once the sex has happened, then okay, now what is he pursuing? So a lot of guys like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep pursuing other women because I can't stop hunting. You know what I mean? I can't stop pursuing women because I've developed too many skills, too many abilities, and these women are showing just as much interest in me as you were. Now you're not showing interest in me like you were because boom, we've crossed that line already. Now what are we doing? What are we creating at this point? And usually it's nothing. So that's why I changed it and said, it's more important for a man or a woman to be able to recognize what's being presented. And I learned this from the peacock, right? The peacock does not, and any other male, like we can take the lion or anything else, because the lion does not pursue the female species of its kind, or the wolf or the peacock or whatever. What they do is they become the most dominant. They develop the most skills out of the males in that area. And they have to fight off other males, but they have to fight the main male at that point. And then once he establishes himself as the alpha male or the main male in that area, the females in that area now really begin to take more interest in him, because he's developed the skills and the characteristics that constitute his skills, that constitutes his strengths as a male lion. So as a man develops within himself the ability and cultivates the things within himself that makes him the best man that he could possibly be, women actually become interested in you. They become more intrigued with who you are. And this is something that I learned as a man, as I began to study and work on myself. I remember that's one of the reasons why I created the Sex Symbol Diet, because what it did was, by me deciding what I was going to eat and sticking to it, it created more confidence in me. And as I said, I'm going to go a week without eating meat. That was my whole line at the time. I'm going a week without eating meat. And as I got through that week, I would notice women will start to gravitate towards me. It's only when women, like, for instance, if your name is Trey Songz, Chris Brown, whoever else celebrity guy that women find attractive, they don't make them jump through all them hoops. You know what I'm saying? Like, they be like, matter of fact, they be like, ooh, this person can get it. Like, you don't even know them. But this guy over here, who you talking to every day, you going to make him work through all these hoops to get it. But that guy over there, who you have no clue how he is as a person, as an individual, he can get it today. You know what I'm saying? And so that already creates a conflict of interest. You're saying that this guy, because he has elevated to a certain level, he's worthy of getting it without working through the hoops, or without the chase, or without the pursuit. So it's the chase. So that's what I'm saying. The chase and the pursuit is more of a game than it is a reality, where a woman says, "I want you to have to work for my sexual organs," and that's what I boiled it down to. But I'm like, if I can take the power out of your wanting me to chase and pursue your sexual organs, and say, no, I want to get to know you. Forget your sexual organs. We can wait on that. I ain't even, matter of fact, I don't even want it. I ain't even got to get it. You know how many women just like, well, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? It was just crickets. Like, I don't really have nothing else to decide that you can really pursue, because because I said I want to get to know you. So now it's like there's nothing to pursue. We're taking out off the table. So now it's just you and me talking. Who are you? And then that's when it got quiet for most women, because most women are used to having their sexual side, their pleasurable side pursued. And they dangle that in front of men in order to get them to more so commit or show that they're interested. But just because a man's chasing does not mean he's interested in you. We talked about that live tonight. Stephen L. Robinson, he'll be on the show next week, so make sure you guys tune in to the Relationships and Chill podcast next week, because he's going to be on, and that show is going to be amazing. But so when a man takes that out of the picture, if you take that sexual side out of the picture, you'll see that a lot of women, they don't really have anything else to dangle in front of you. But even if a man is pursuing a woman sexually, and the woman is dangling the sexual side in front of her, the problem now happens that the man starts to dangle a relationship in front of a woman, because that's ultimately what and I always say this to my female friends, that basically a relationship is a man's vagina. A relationship is a man's version of a vagina, meaning that a lot of guys will hold the relationship idea over a woman just to get what they want. And a lot of women will hold the sexual aspect of over a man just to get the closeness and the relationship and the commitment from a man. And so then he'll commit. He'll tell you exactly what you want to hear. And this is part of why I say you don't chase or pursue. Now, I ain't saying just give it up easily, but I'm saying have more things to offer and have more things about yourself as a woman. And as a man, it's not always about pursuing a woman sexually, because at the end of the day, you're wasting a lot of time trying to chase women ultimately to get the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing, but that creates the problem within relationships, because now you've developed as a man the desire to always have to chase and always have to pursue women on a sexual level, but you don't know how to maintain and keep a woman's focus and interest on you for the duration. So now she's like, well, you're not pursuing me anymore like you used to. Well, that's because the only thing you had for me to pursue was the sexual aspect. And now women are like, what do I do to keep him interested? What do I do to keep his focus on me without going out and cheating on me with another woman? Because she's essentially offering the same thing, maybe even a little bit easier. To be honest, he may not have to work as hard for her as he does for you. And like I said, when it seems too much like work, people just like, forget it. I'm not going to work for sex. You know what I mean? I'm not going to work for sex when we're both equally getting the same thing. But it ends up biting a lot of men in the rear in the end, because you've pursued and chased all these women and you've gotten your skills so sharp. But now it's like the things that you used to relish in and the things that you were great at doing, now they're not looking for that from you anymore. They're like, you too old to be out here chasing. You too old to be out here pursuing women. But it's like, what else can I do? Because that's all I've been doing as a man. And I think women and men both kind of facilitate this mentality, and it creates the dysfunction within a relationship, because now how do you sharpen your skills within a relationship without actually being in relationships? But if you're constantly chasing, constantly pursuing, constantly being chased, constantly being pursued, only to be let down, only to be, like, okay, I got what I wanted, now I'm on to the next. So you're constantly going through this cat and mouse tug of war, and you're never making any real progress. So you don't know how to be in a relationship properly, because all you're used to is the beginning part, which is the chase or the pursuit. People are great at the pursuit. People are great at being pursued. People are great at being pursued and great at pursuing. But what happens next? What happens after the game is over? How do we start to develop a relationship where we're both mutually interested, we're both mutually involved in the relationship and in the progression of the relationship? It has to start from the beginning, because how you do anything is how you do everything, and how something start is how it's going to either be needed to be maintained or how it's going to end. So a lot of women are like, I feel neglected. I feel as though he's not interested in being with me or getting to know me. Well, he's already gotten the best that you feel like you had to offer at that time, because it was the thing that you were holding back. You did not hold back. You did not hold back getting to know you. But what you failed to realize was what he presented as a man. Because if you would have saw that, you would have saw that what he was pursuing was how he was pursuing was telling you that that's all he wanted, or that's all he was able to maintain, is the pursuit. But once the pursuit is over with, and I know I'm probably rambling a little bit, but once the pursuit is over with, then it's back to square one for both of you. He's back pursuing another woman. You're back to, healing, and then waiting for another guy to come and try to pursue you. And then so your indicator is he's pursuing me, so he's interested. But that's not the case. Presentation. So how does a man present? And I'll have more women. The sex symbol, not the sex symbol. Sorry about that. But that is a good book. But the husband material guide, I've created that for you to be able to recognize what a man has to offer and how to recognize what he's presenting to you, so that you can make a better informed decision. And as you're able to recognize the characteristics that a man is presenting to you, then you stand a greater chance of choosing a man who wants to have an intimate relationship with you and can constantly invest in you and constantly pull out of you more than just the sexual side. The sexual side, and now I will say this, we are over sexualized as a whole, especially here in the United States. We over sexualize, we overindulge in sexuality. So a lot of women and men are so engulfed in the sexual aspect of a relationship that they don't focus on and don't know how to build a working, functional relationship that's not predominantly moved by sex. So if you can't do that, then a lot of women eventually get to the point where they don't even want to have sex with their significant other or their husband, I would say, at all anymore. They don't want to have sex with them because for one thing, that's all, or it's two things, right? So either they don't want to have sex with him at all, or they withhold it and make him do something in order to get sex. So now you're forcing yourself to create a pursuit. So now you're telling yourself no more sex until you do this, because I'm going to have to force you to pursue me again. And that's what a lot of women do. That's the game that a lot of women play. But it's because the society is set up to be over sexualized and to tell women and to a lot of women and tell women that, hey, if he's pursuing you, that's a good sign that he's really interested in you. But that's not the case. I hope you've seen in this particular episode that just because a man is doing that does not mean that he's truly interested in you. So, so there's a lot that I go over in the actual blog post, which you can see on relationshipsandchill.com. And I mainly want to tell men, just focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and women actually gravitate towards you. It's the craziest thing. You would think it's the other way. You would think with all the talk about pursuing and being pursued, you would think that it wouldn't matter. But the reality of it is, and I can attest to this, and you can even just look at how women go crazy over celebrities, that as they elevate and they become celebrities and well known, women lower the restrictions on what a man should do to pursue them. And so focusing in on becoming your best self and learning how to present to a woman, and based on her ability or inability to recognize what you present, like I said, it's like a Ferrari or Bentley. They don't have to advertise. They don't have to pursue you. They just say, hey, listen, you see people who drive one of what we produce. We ain't got to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we got to do is just continue to do what we're doing. And you're gonna come to us if you're able to afford us, and you get to a certain level. Then yeah, you can definitely be in cahoots with us. But other than that, like, I'm not, like, there is no need to pursue someone who doesn't. Because last thing, for a man, and women innately know this, um, when a man is pursuing, he's automatically saying your value is worth more than my value. So it automatically lowers a man. Like I said, when a man is elevating at a certain level, the pursuit is lessened. But when they perceive that you're going to have to work for them or for what they have to offer as women, which is more than likely. Now, they're not making you work for a conversation, because you're having conversations the whole time. You're getting to know each other the whole time. But it's the sexual side that people want to protect, that women want to protect. And so that's the chase. That's the chase. That's the angle that the chase comes from. But it doesn't come from a mutual perspective of, like, let's get to know each other. What are you presenting to me, and what am I presenting to you? That's where we start from. That's the base. Because as we move into a relationship, if we move into a relationship, we need to be able to recognize what the other is saying without even saying it. So what you present to me in a relationship, what my wife is saying to me, I need to be able to recognize, take it into consideration, and then show interest, or I need to be able to show interest in her feelings and what she thinks. That's the baseline for a great relationship. It's not me pursuing you all the time and how you feel, and you're constantly putting up barriers and saying, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good, woo-de-woo. And so I'm having to constantly ask you, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. So I am pursuing you still throughout the whole relationship. And eventually it leads a lot of men to frustration, which leads them ultimately to start chasing something easier. So that's why you have a lot of guys who go and get prostitutes and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, it's just easier. It's just an easier pursuit, at least to curve that. It's like a vampire. It's like a vampire that's trying to not to eat humans or try to drink human blood. So what they do is they'll go and they'll drink a deer blood. You know what I mean? They'll get something a lot easier, and they don't I don't want to say it makes them feel better, but it's kind of like that. Like, they're trying to do the right thing. Not saying that men going, but it's like, I can go, because you have a lot of guys who, like, I'm gonna go and start a whole nother family with somebody else too. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, eventually, it eventually they just leave the whole relationship. Meaning they may have they have a wife, and they'll have kids and everything like that. But because of all of the resistance that he's been going through over the years, the pursuit to having to constantly pursue this woman and ask her how she feels, and is always resistance and always resentment built up in the relationship. Both of them. But then a man will go to a woman who has less resistance towards him, because there are a lot of women who look at a man who's already married as being more stable, and a better catch than the single men. So they'll make a married man work less than the single man would, because they know if a man is married, that means somebody else wants him also. So it's more, then it turns into that woman's competition against the other woman who happens to be the wife, and she's going to do whatever she needs to do to make it seem easier to get her, which is what men will gravitate towards, especially with a lot of pressure in his current relationship. So I think it's very important to take a moment and really think about it, and just look at the intricacies of how the pursuit mentality, and I could go into how it contributes to rape culture and all kinds of stuff, but I'll save that and let you guys, if you have a question about that, then I can go into it, because it definitely affects the rape culture, because it's pursuit. It's pursuit. It's resistance, because no animal wants to. If an animal is chasing an animal, it's because they don't want to be caught. You only chase something or pursue something that does not want to be caught. So a lot of the times as a culture, as a society, we say no means no, but in reality, to pursue is a form of saying no. It means that, okay, I'm not going to make this easy for you, or because I don't know if you mean yes or no, but me continuing to proceed forward is me fighting through your resistance. So me fighting through your resistance is a form of you really telling me no. But me being persistent or pursuing, which is the root word for persist. So me persisting and me pursuing or chasing or going after you are putting up the resistance. I am literally saying no. Your no means nothing to me. Like when you really think about it, I know we can slice we can we can slice it all kinds of ways, and we can split hairs and say this and that, but in the reality, realistically, is you really saying no. No, I'm not going to open myself up to you. No, I'm not allowing you to just have your way with me and all that kind of stuff. You got to work for me. But now it's like, as a man, what about me? How are you working for me? Because my emotional issues, or my how I feel, kind of gets neglected because I'm constantly trying to see how you feel. But what about me? So a lot of women neglect men's feelings and their perspectives and just say, well, he's constantly chasing me, so if he's not, he has to. So he's constantly chasing me. So now when he's off of his corner and not talking, how do I find out more about him? And usually women, a man says, I don't want to talk about it. Then either a woman gets really upset at the fact that he doesn't want to talk about it, or, they'll continue to prod at him and he'll get more angry because it's not a normal place for him. And women do it too, of course. I'm not saying that women don't do it, but this is typical for most relationships. It starts off with the man pursuing and the woman being pursued, which always leads to the man pursuing and the woman always being pursued. So it's hard to switch roles. It's hard to switch the rules once the game has been set up. So now I just say change and look and observe at what's being presented instead of having to always pursue or chase after someone's feeling. Like presentation is mutual. Chase is one way or another. You're chasing me, I'm chasing you. But no, let's be adults and let's bring what we feel to the table and let's work out a resolution. Let's figure out how to make this thing work, and let's create a new pattern for being in a relationship with one another. You present what you have to offer. I take it into consideration. I show interest in what you have to say, and then we work out a resolution, and we both come together mutually, and we grow together. That's how relationships should start. But a lot of the times, it's attached to our fear of not wanting to be hurt, and so during that fear of being hurt, wanting to be hurt, we put up all these guards and restrictions, which I understand. But someone is going to be so persistent that they're going to make a lot of women believe that their persistence is an indication of their true interest. But their true interest is not in the presentation, or is not. It's in the presentation, not in the pursuit. It's in the presentation and not in the pursuit. So by taking all of that off the table and saying, listen, I just want to get to know who you are. I want you to get to know who I am, because I'm interested in getting to know you, not just interested in a relationship. That's those words right there for a man signify two things, and I'm gonna let y'all go after this. It signifies two things to a man when a woman says that she only wants a relationship. It signifies that one, she's made bad decisions. Now, for women, it may mean something totally different for y'all. Y'all may feel like it means, but for a man, this is what we hear. We hear one or two things. Either you have made very bad decisions in the past with your vagina, or two, you are hurt from something that happened to you in the past, and you want a relationship, but you haven't really done the work to to make sure that you are in the best position, because relationships are kind of a natural thing. Once you get to a certain point, you naturally attract certain individuals, and now all you have to do is be able to recognize what they present, because if you're still hurting, then you're going to attract people who want to hurt, who will eventually hurt you even more, or two, just want to use you for your sexual for sex, because they know you have made decisions like that in the past and ended up being hurt. So that fear ends up being more hurt. It ends up leading to more hurt and more pain and more frustration, to the point where you like, there are no more good men out here. And men, we got our own things, like, calling women B's and H's. That's really all you're gonna attract, because that's all you know. That's what you think. So it starts from within, and being able to recognize within yourself what you're saying to yourself shows you, it'll tell you what you're attracting. And as you understand what you're attracting, you'll be able to make decisions based on what you know to be true, and not what you believe should happen or could happen, or what he's saying and what he's doing. No. Take the time to investigate yourself, so that you can recognize within yourself what you are saying to yourself and why you are saying those things to yourself, so that you can recognize when men come to you at that particular time, because they're going to tell you the story of what you are believing. And men, the type of women that you're drawing to yourself, if you're so focused on sexuality, you won't be able to really see a good woman, because you're so focused on physically how she looks. And usually 9 times out of 10, most women, that's all they have to offer is their physical abilities, their physical looks. So it requires a little bit more investigation. But, for women, I think it's very important to be able to recognize men and what they bring to the table, so that you can make informed decisions, which is what the Husband Material Guide is designed to do. It'll be available for pre-order on February the 4th, the first Monday in February. So you'll be able to pre-order it. And you'll be able, so next Monday, next Monday, you'll be able to pre-order it. And it'll be out on Valentine's Day. I guarantee that it will change your life. It will change your perspective on how you view men and how you view what you attract out of men. So make sure you guys check that out. Like I said, check out the relationshipsandchill.com. And you can read the blog post more in detail and see what I'm saying. Make sure you subscribe to the mailing list, so you can get access to a lot of great information. We're going to have a lot of amazing stuff coming up soon. Subscribe to Relationships and Chill TV on YouTube. Also, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Relationships and Chill. For more great information. Also follow us, hit that subscribe, rate, and share this episode to all your female friends or all your male friends, so that you can so that they can see what I'm saying. And I'm curious to know y'all thoughts, so let me know what you guys think about this episode. I mean, it's difficult for me sometimes to go by myself and talk about it, but if you ask me some questions, I'll be more than gladly to answer them. So, without further ado, y'all, that's been today's episode. I appreciate your time. Peace and blessings, y'all. This has been Coach R. Anthony, and I'm out. Peace.